Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your Sunday night reading. I just had a bath, so I'm all nice and loose. Shouldn't help with the heat flashes that are about to come, though, thanks to this reading. Okay, so you clicked on this reading, obviously, for a reason. Sag, what do you got to tell me? Here we go. Some type of... I just heard warning. I'm not sure. Here we go. Oh, okay. Sending, clock, lightning, stabbed in the back, sunglasses, and hammer. Okay. Okay. Ascending clock. Let's talk about that right away. I feel like it's time for you to get over something and like lightning speed, okay? We got stabbed in the back, sunglasses, and then hammer. So what I see here is that there's, a shocking attack about to happen, which is why it's some type of warning, right? A lot of warnings are coming out right now, and we're still in Aquarius. So I'm not quite sure why Aquarius is letting all this energy go right now, but it seems like people that you were connected with it's like making a comeback. You know, like people that you left behind, people that you're trying to walk away from, everybody that is just holding on to the past while now you're trying to get out of it. Okay? And this happens pretty quick. So it's obviously in the ether right now, which is why I'm picking it up. I usually don't do 3 readings a day, and they've been happening. So somebody is, again, I see this stalking, repetitive stalking. Because their perception is deception. Trying to rebuild something that needs time. You know, I do feel like the first equation that kind of came into my head, the first situation, was somebody cheated on somebody, and now they won't leave this person alone. And this person's like, listen, dude, you cheated on me. Like, just give me some time. I'll figure it out. And if we can get back together, we can get back together. But this person's like obsessed. And their perception is now deception. Where they deceived you, now they feel like you're going to deceive them. Interesting. What do my cards have to say about this Sagittarius reading? I had a big clump like this, so I put 5 decks together, the weirdest cards. We got Vulture, there we go, 10 of Swords. This was an ending. And the ending that needs some time, okay? With this King of Pentacles, Leprechaun. Somebody who is just a little too greedy, okay? You had to kill it. Because there was way too much fighting going on between the two of you, okay? So now we've got karma. Karma to the King of Wands. And, like, I feel like this King of Wands is the one that cheated, okay? I have such a small working space. I need to make myself some shelves. Okay, so now we got this King of Wands, okay, to tell the story of the King of Wands with Ooh, okay. 2 8s, something ending. So this King of Wands has some shit hidden deep, 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 okay? And their karma's coming back around, which is obviously why, like, they could have went even farther than just cheating, okay? And they've got a lot of things lurking below. So I think that's why this person's taking time to get away from them, or you're taking time to get away from them, because yes, okay, they cheated on you once, but now you're like, maybe you're putting some pieces of the puzzle together, right? Like how this person's worked with you, right? And then there's this alert to the 5 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, and the 8 of Swords. So I feel like you're going to let this person know, okay, that there is no going back. I think you're going to decide there's no going back with this person. The stabbing of the back, the deception that they did, whatever they did, this doesn't have to be a lover. It's going to come out sometimes as a certain scenario. But if it's somebody close to you that I'm talking about that you would never sleep with, clearly doesn't have anything to do with sex. But sometimes it does, though. Sometimes it does. Okay? So you left this, like, this person got left, okay? And yes, they got left for their greed. Okay? And so shall it be. If someone's greedy in a relationship, any type of relationship, then and they're all like fighting with you to justify this greed, right? It's like, you know that they have a lot more lurking below than what's coming through the surface. Okay? A lot more. So I think you let this person know again. Like, you might find them stalking you. Like, you might find them around. Like, I don't think this person's going to hurt you. It doesn't seem like they're going to hurt you. I just think they're going to be persistent about you now deceiving them. Right? Like, if you cut ties with them, they're going to make you feel like this almost for doing this, for walking away and shattering everything. They might try to keep you in some hold. And now I see something like, them saying that they're going to kill themselves. Okay? Them saying that they're going to hurt themselves, they're going to cut themselves, they're going to do something because they're absolutely certain that you are doing something to them. So this is where it gets dangerous, because, I had this ex once that I broke up with, and I went out, went with the girls to the bar, obviously rebounding. And he called me up and said he was going to kill himself if I didn't come to his house right then and there. He knew I was out. He knew that I was trying to have a good time. And because I was ignoring him, he went to the next phase, that he was going to kill himself. And then when I got there, he was listening to this awful, depressing music, crying, and we never spoke of it again. Like, I just stayed with him. I didn't walk away again, knowing that he was so fragile. But he was using his emotions, and that's what people do. Like if you break up with somebody, you have every right to break up with them. Every right to walk away with them. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them an explanation. When the heart wants is what the heart gets sometimes, and that's not always what somebody else wants, right? And if they go as far as saying they're going to hurt themselves because you're walking away and they can't hold on to you anymore, that's like massive manipulation. Okay, that's obsessive compulsive. That's now deceiving you, and that's why this is time. That's why I think the universe is like, man, you got to get out of this. Like, if there's a break in the storm, right, which is the break in the storm means that you're in the eye of it, right? In the eye of the storm, nothing's happening because the storm is all around it. There's always an eye, right? And I feel like this is the eye. Like, you are in the eye of the disaster. And if you don't choose to walk away, then what this person has lingering could possibly end up hurting you, right? Because if they're saying they're going to hurt themselves, I have every ounce to think that they're going to hurt you too, because a violent person is a violent person, right? And I do know, like this isn't cutting yourself kind of hurting. Although this person may have scars on them for doing that. Like they might cut themselves and they have, from, if they're cutting themselves, then they most likely have some type of trauma in there. And when you cut yourself so you can feel. You cut yourself so then you can watch yourself bleed. And I know it's a really weird thing to say, and once you get it, you get it. If you've harmed yourself as a child, which I did, I didn't realize what I was doing until I was in the hospital, and I was about to get a colonoscopy because of my Crohn's disease. So you have to get colonoscopies like every couple of years just to make sure that everything's okay with you and you're not going to die, basically. So I was waiting for to get a colonoscopy done, and I was waiting in the waiting room, and I had my IV and everything, right? It's day surgery, right? So you're in there and out pretty quick, right? I was in my gown and everything, waiting for the doctor and nurses to call me, and I was playing with my IV. And I was like probably 28, 29 years old. I was playing with my IV and I was pushing the blood in and out of it. And this black man was sitting beside me. And let me tell you, I think he was some spiritual fucking shaman. He was younger, but he was older than me. And he looked at me and he goes, "Why do you hate yourself so much?" And like, could you imagine waiting for surgery and having somebody like just say that to you? Like, I'm sorry. Hi, what's up? What's going on? Like, okay. And it took me 5 or 6 years to realize what he was saying to me. Because that IV that was in me, that I was playing with, hurt me. It's an IV. You can feel it. It fucking hurts. And I was playing with it and it was making it worse. But because I was so nervous about going into day surgery, because I never had support, I would take myself to my day surgeries and drive home, which is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. But I would make up stories and say like, oh, you know, they're just waiting in the park for me, or yeah, I know I need a driver. They're I got to take a cab. It's okay. And I would lie to the nurses and the doctors because I didn't have any family to pick me up. I didn't have any boyfriends. I didn't have anybody who cared about me. In my 20s, I once I got diagnosed with my Crohn's disease and my fibromyalgia, like at the same time, and I believe my scoliosis kind of all like cascaded in like the 2 or 3 year span. My parents, my stepmother and my father were like, oh, you know, like if you need any help, just let us know. Like we know you're on your own and it's really hard. So I had a $150 blood test that I had to get done, that something was like sitting on, that I didn't know if I had this as well, but I couldn't pay for the blood work to get done. So right then and there, I was like, my sister was sitting right there and I go, okay, well, you know, if you guys are going to say you're going to help me, then like I need this $150 like blood test and I can't afford it because like $150 somebody who pays for everything in their life is for a fucking blood test. That's not easy to just pull out of your ass. And my stepmother goes, well, no, you can pay for that yourself. I was like, and like, it took my sister and I a couple years to figure out that conversation as well. Having that type of manipulation, look you in the face saying that they're going to help you. And then when you ask for help, they say no. That's completely contradictory. And then she was like, you know, they think of some excuse to say afterwards, and you go, that's not help then. Like, and then you make me feel like shit. She made me feel like shit that I should be able to pay for it myself when she just admitted that it was probably hard for me to pay for my own stuff because I was on my own. I've never been married, never had some guy take care of me. I'm 37 years old. Like, I've been on my own since I was 18 years old. I moved out, and my parents have never looked back since. My parents didn't help me. I had to like brag my dad to help me move one time in my 20s. Remember this, I had scoliosis the whole time. I had to beg him to come and help me move because he said no, he was too busy. And I was by myself. I had to move an entire single girl's apartment by myself because I couldn't ask my friends to help me move anymore because it was fucking rude. I've moved over 50 times. My mother, her alone, moved me about 10 times just in my childhood alone to keep my sister and I in as much trauma as she could because she knew that there were skeletons in the closet. She knew that her life was going to be exposed if she didn't keep my sister and I in trauma. Okay? And I feel like I don't know why I just said that whole thing. Obviously, I say things for a fucking reason. But I feel like this has something to do with this person. Like, this person is continually stalking, trying to get a result that they want, even though they were greedy when they had you, even though they took advantage of the situation. They cheated on you, or they stole from you, or they did something to you, and now they use that to get you to stay and hurt themselves. And that's the thing. I think that's where we're getting back to, is like, it's, signs that you've been abused is hurting yourself, right? And if this person, that's the thing, is like, if you've had parents massively manipulate you on things and say things and do things when even as a child, that that's not right, those kind of things can play out in your future, right? So if you've got somebody that is manipulating you, saying they're going to kill themselves if you don't stay with them, that could bring back a whole cascade of emotions from back in the day when your mother used to, say that if you didn't come and hold her hand, that she wasn't going to make it through the night, or if if she couldn't hit you and then apologize right after, and if you didn't accept her apology, then everything was your fault, and she didn't do anything wrong, and she was, like parents. That's the thing, is like, I don't think I'll ever parent a child because of the mass manipulation that happens with parent and child. It's parents, I don't believe a lot know any idea of what the fuck they're doing. And the outcome of that, the result of that, is a bunch of fucked up people walking this earth. And I know I'm one of those fucked up people walking this earth. My parents didn't know what they were doing. And then I took that out on my spouses. I dated suicidal guys. I dated guys that were drunks. I dated guys who beat me. I, was friends with guys who fucking decided that they were all just gonna massively take advantage of me one night naked while I was passed out drunk. Like what people do to you, and you say that it's your fault. You say, like, if I wasn't dressed so sexy, or if I wasn't by myself, like, it's all based from the past and how you hurt yourself in the future, how you put yourself in situations where you feel like you trust people and you can't. Right? Or you end up not trusting them because you wake up and you've just been gangbanged by them all. Right? It's like, you really have to be careful with your life. You have to be careful with the people you hang around with. And you have to be careful with the people who show you signs that they're going to hurt you by hurting themselves. So, yeah, Sag, I hope this helped. Peace out.